Hello, salut. I am the Rasta Witch. Here's where we learn the way of the Yan Sui Rasta, which is to say, my kind of Ital. Please subscribe and begin your own kind of Yan Sui witchcraft. All roads go to Rome. Home. Hello. Okay, so getting my Bible. Oh, hang on. Okay. So anyway. This one is about peace. In a nutshell, Rasta is about peace. Like the nutshell of everything Bob and Selassie said, and that I'm saying, and everything that this channel stands for is peace. War is an idea I believe that's going to be an out-of-date concept. So you got these Christians that believe in the rapture, that Jesus is gonna come floating in a cloud in the sky, tell everybody, if the Mormon Church has been the true religion all along, or the Catholic Church is gonna proclaim which church is the actual true church all along, and then everybody that understands that's gonna float up into the sky with them, and it will be known who is right about all these theological debates all along, and everybody else will be burned to death and will die, and it's crazy people believe that, because we know historically when the rapture began to be taught, we know that not very many people realize about cannabis. When the Lord comes in a cloud, it's because they're smoking. You might say you can't prove it's cannabis, but you can. It was a mixture of herbs the priests had mixed together, and cannabis was one of them. It's like, yeah, you hotbox. The other herbs just make it smell pretty. If that smoke is cannabis smoke, and they're all hotboxing it, and then they start talking and mysticizing. It's like, yeah, I guess you can interpret that however you want. But so when Jah comes again after Jesus, so this video is kind of the continuation. So hopefully you've listened to HWA Part 1 and Part 2. The Part 1 is called Who is Ephraim and Manasseh? And the Part 2 is called the U.S. and British history in the Bible. So this is about that, because it's like, why, if there's 12 tribes, really, if you count Joseph as Ephraim and Manasseh, if there's 13 tribes, why is it always about Judah or Joseph all the time, So we know Joseph was the coat of many colors, was the one with the birthright. And then Judah is the one that's where the king's going to come from. That's why Jesus and Selassie are from the tribe of Judah, and that it would always be said that's where Jah would come from, because Jah's a symbol of a king, and all kingship things come from Judah. So, I'm just gonna read Revelations chapter 20, verses 1 through 3, because that's really what this whole millennium, of peace is all about, and it's not just Judeo-Christian churches, but it's believed by many, even outside of that we're going to outgrow war, and then there's going to be 1,000 years of peace. So this isn't the only one, but this is the idea. So in the book of Revelations, there's 7 candles, 7 church eras, 7 seals, and that's why, like, young earth creationists, which is ridiculous, believe the earth was created 6,000 years ago, and the 7,000th year is going to be this world peace. Do you get it? It's because the earth was created in 6 days, and on the 7th day the Lord rested. So the 7th day when the Lord rests is a millennium of peace. Get it? One day to the Lord is 1,000 years. That's a different subject. It's in, I believe it's in Proverbs, where it states that one day to the Lord is like 1,000 earth, human years. So here's the most famous one. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and the great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. So supposedly the brainwashing and manipulations of Babylon would cease for 1,000 years. Then after 1,000 years, there'd be some revival of it, and then we would quickly figure out that, whoa, this stuff isn't working, and go back to what has been working for 1,000 years. And so, I believe that means war. So I believe the first 6 seals have been opened, and the 7th seal, and I'll go into that in a lot more detail, mostly on the Haile Selassie playlist. But the thing is, and the reason why this is the next thing to talk about, is because the concept of, why Ephraim and Manasseh. So the first thing to mention is that there was an upper and lower kingdom, and so Jerusalem was in the middle, and the king was from Judah, lived in Jerusalem. The whole lower part was Judah, and was it Benjamin? It was Judah, the largest tribe, the darker skinned tribe. And that would kind of go into, we learn Ethiopia with the Queen of Sheba and Solomon's story, and the Kheber Nagast. And then the upper kingdom was the other ones. The priest would always be from the tribe of Levi. So to be a priest, it wasn't just you would be ordained and they'd lay your hands on your head, or it wasn't a question of being ordained. It was a bloodline thing. You had to be from the tribe of Levi to have what could be called the Levitic or the Levited priesthood, and they were Northern Kingdom people. And then there was also the Aaronic or the Aaronid priesthood, and they were from a separate group of people that could be proved to be from the bloodline of Aaron. Of course, Aaron was from the tribe of Levi, so it's still the tribe of Levi. It's just a specialized part of that family that was actually related to Aaron. And Aaron would forever be administering before the Ark of the Covenant. The priests in Ethiopia, where the Ark of the Covenant is today, have their bloodline from Aaron and have the Aaronid priesthood. Okay, so, and I talked about this in the videos I just mentioned. Verse 11, and there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. Of course, Rasta can mean branch. Yansway Rasta is just one of many branches of Rastafarianism. And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge, and of the fear of the Lord. Okay, so it talks about that. Then it says, and in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. 13. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. I talked about that already a lot on the other videos. But the point that I'm bringing it up now is, see, so it's talking about Judah and Ephraim, right? That's relevant to how this whole piece is going to work out. It's not talking about the other tribes, the other lost tribes, but it's kind of more about these two, Oh yeah, so in the Bible, when you study the subject of who wrote the Bible, There's the G book, there's the G Bible, and the E Bible. Not G, the J. The J Bible refers to God as Jehovah, and not Jehovah, Yahweh really. And the E version refers to God as Elohim, but they're records of the northern and southern kingdom. The southern kingdom had their records of, and the northern kingdom had their records. Judah and Ephraim, and the priests had all the records, and at the king's request compiled them all. So you have a northern record, and so like that. I'm bringing that up just to show, just that there's this separation. There's the tribes of the north and the tribes of the south, and they even have their own versions of the Bible back before they unified it into one book. Chapter 45 of Isaiah also talks about actually, I'm going to skip that one. That's too complicated. This video will be too long. Ezekiel 37 talks about it also. And we, in verse 13, and ye shall know that I am the Lord when I have opened your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves. So it's talking about the resurrection. I'll do a video on the resurrection. I don't believe in like this. Have you seen the cover of Iron Maiden Live After Death where Eddie's coming out of the grave? It's like I don't believe in that, nor do I believe in the rapture. They're both ridiculous ideas. I don't believe the Bible's the Word of God either. I just believe it is a powerful book through our mind formations, thought forms and stuff have self-fulfilled prophecy type energies, because we believe these things in past lives and everything. Anything might have, that's all subject too, but moreover, the Lord came again unto me, saying, Moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions. Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, see, and for all the house of Israel, his companions, see, because the name Israel is not for Judah, but rather for Ephraim and Manasseh. Genesis 48. Genesis 48. And join them into one to another into one stick, that they shall become one in thine hand. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, Wilt thou not shew? So there it becomes one record. And then it says, And I shall make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel. One king shall be king to them all. And they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms any more at all. And David my servant shall be king over them, and they shall one shepherd and walk in my judgments and statutes. And so the point is that this peace involves a unification of, like I don't know if the combining them into one stick means like what I was saying, combining the records into one written Bible, and that's what the Bible is today, or if that's relevant to nowadays. And it's like, because like right now, if you study Rasta, it sounds like something that's just for black people, but yeah, if Haile Selassie is the Lion of Judah, he opened the fifth seal, and he would have done that when he visited Jamaica, which now that the whole point of the fifth seal is the people finally get to see him like they did. The Rastas finally got to see their God, Jah Rastafari, when he came to visit him in Jamaica. And he gave him a bunch of white robes. He gave him a bunch of awards and stuff. But the book of Revelations calls awards white robes. And they say, how much longer is our blood supposed to be shed? How much longer is this suffering supposed to last? And he said, brought up the whole, like how Jesus used to always say, the first will be last and last will be first, that until everybody else gets with it, so basically that's what I think. That's why I'm doing Yan Sway for myself. I'm hoping that it'll catch on and other people will realize that too. But I don't think that. I mean, I don't believe in concepts like me knowing what everybody else ought to be doing, and me knowing the only way it can work, and the only truth that, those kind of statements I don't believe in. Maybe there's just like countless ways the same thing can be accomplished. But for me, that's what I'm doing. Is I'm as someone from the tribe of Ephraim and Manasseh. I'm from Manasseh, actually. Yeah, Manasseh is the scripture. According to the scriptures, would be a melting pot nation. That is what, that there would be many different people that would make up. I can't remember how it words it. It's in Herbert Armstrong's book, U.S. and Britain and Prophecy. It would be a melting pot nation, and that's what we are. So before coming to America, my family would have been of Ephraim mostly, and whatever the French are, I don't know. I'm Franco-Anglo-American, but since we've been American for so long, we were on the Mayflower. We're Manasseh, and Manasseh is made up of many different people. So I'm being a Rasta, tribe of Manasseh version of Rastafari, you know. And there might be other versions, like just like, again, I don't know what everybody else should be doing, but I want world peace. And so, I would probably, when it says Ephraim, it really just means Joseph. It means Israel, which is Ephraim and Manasseh. And we need to get with it, and so that there will be one king, Jah Rastafari, and the character of his kingship. It's a symbol. It's like Bob says, it's a teaching, get with the teaching so we can put the Bible behind us. It can be the end of the story. And we can start looking at the life of Haile Selassie instead. I believe that the autobiography, the Yanswe Rasta believes that the autobiography of Haile Selassie, Volume 1 and 2, My Life in Ethiopia's Progress, is, and I'll put that on the playlist about Selassie, is better than the Bible. Studying the life of Haile Selassie is significantly more relevant than studying the Bible. But through the Bible, you realize that Haile Selassie is something special. And then with a humble spirit, you can assess the information and realize what's needed and take realistic steps, towards, like what policing just because America's rich, doing the international policing. No, let the UN do it, and let's support the UN. If there's something wrong with the UN, then let's petition it like Selassie did in his speech before the UN, and blah blah blah. Selassie combined many concepts and changed and modernized. Wasn't afraid to modernize things that they've been doing for thousands of years in Ethiopia. It's okay to modernize things. It's okay to, we're not at war against modern concepts. We're trying to make a modern world where we don't need war, and so that's what it means, I believe, by one king. And the resurrection, it means a spiritual resurrection, for example, John Lennon. I love John Lennon, and when I listen to his music and I think of his life and the things I know about him, I'm resurrecting the spirit of John Lennon, So when we turn our hearts to the fathers and the fathers to the children, this is a resurrection of sort. And we're resurrecting all these spirits and all these things, and learning all these new concepts and modernizing these things to create world peace and outgrow war. So that's the unifying of that's why it's Judah and Ephraim, because I'll let you figure it out from there on out, Britain, the United States, and Judah, which includes the Jews, and Ethiopia, So I'll do another video on the King of the North and the King of the South, and we'll go into that in a little bit more depth.